Today, we're going to dig into an idea that's right at the center of the Christian faith. It's about a gift so big, so wild, it kind of challenges everything we think we know about love and what it costs.
But before we get into that, let me ask you something. Just take a second and really think about it. What's the one thing or the one person in your life that is so incredibly precious to you that you could never, ever imagine giving them away? Not for anything in the world. I heard a pastor talk about this recently, and it really hit home. He has 4 daughters, and he loves them to pieces. And he said, look, no matter how much I might love another person, I could never, not in a million years, give one of my children to them. For a parent, it's unthinkable. It shows us there's a line, right? A human limit to what we can give.
And it's right there, at that exact unthinkable line, that this famous verse becomes so staggering. Because it claims that God did the very thing that is completely unthinkable for us. He gave His one and only Son. The whole point is that this unbelievable gift came from an equally unbelievable love, and it had a purpose, to give us something called eternal life.
But what does that even mean, eternal life, or Yongseng as you see it here? It's actually more than just living forever after you die. It's also about a totally new kind of life, a new way of being, seeing yourself as a child of God, starting right now in this moment. So it's a gift that has a future promise, sure, but it's also a present reality.
Okay, so that just leads to a massive question, doesn't it? Why? Why was such an extreme, unthinkable gift even necessary in the first place? What was the problem that was so bad that this was the only answer?
Well, according to Christian teaching, the problem comes down to one little 3-letter word: sin, or Joe. And the definition here is way broader than we might think. We're not just talking about big, terrible crimes. It's any thought, word, or action that doesn't meet God's perfect standard. That can be anything from hatred and fighting, all the way down to just feeling irritated at someone.
And this isn't just about the things we do on the outside. This verse from the Old Testament book of Jeremiah suggests the problem is much, much deeper. It's internal. It says that the human heart itself is, it's fundamentally flawed, which makes sin not just something we do, but part of who we are.
So here's the core conflict, the collision course. If God is perfectly pure and good, then He can't just look the other way and ignore sin. That clash, that incompatibility creates a separation, a huge divide, and the Bible calls the result of that separation perishing. This is the problem that needed a solution.
So, how on earth do you build a bridge across a divide like that? The answer, we're told, is found in an act that shows just how much love can truly cost.
You know, to really get the weight of God's choice, just think about the sheer scale of the universe for a second. Our entire planet is just a tiny, tiny speck of dust in this mind-bogglingly huge cosmos. A being powerful enough to create all of that could have just snapped his fingers and started over, right? Wipe the slate clean.
But He didn't. Instead of just tossing humanity aside, God chose to fix what was broken. The analogy used in the source material is like a child's favorite toy. When it breaks, you don't just throw it in the trash. Because you love it, you do whatever you have to do to fix it. This choice wasn't about showing off power. It was about a personal, restoring kind of love.
And the tool He used for that fixing was the cross. And it's almost impossible for us now to understand how truly radical this was. Back then, the cross wasn't a pretty piece of jewelry. It was a horrific, brutal device for public torture and execution. Basically, the electric chair of the ancient world, saved for the absolute worst criminals. So the story here is how this symbol of utter shame was turned into the ultimate symbol of love and forgiveness.
So how did that happen? How did that symbol get flipped on its head? The core idea is this, that Jesus, being perfect and without any sin of His own, willingly took on the punishment that humanity deserved. He basically stepped in and took the hit for us, and in doing so, He built that bridge across the Great Divide.
And get this, even in the middle of all that unimaginable pain, the focus was still on love and forgiveness. This prayer for the very soldiers who were killing Him, it's held up as the final proof of what this gift was all about. It wasn't given with resentment, it was given with this incredible depth of grace.
But the story doesn't stop with death. The claim of the resurrection, that Jesus came back to life 3 days later, is the exclamation point on the whole thing. It's presented as the ultimate victory of life over death, of love over sin. It's the proof that the gift worked, that the debt was paid in full. Okay, so if that's the gift, what are we supposed to do with it? How do you even begin to live in response to something that big?
The source gives us a really clear three-part path. It starts in your head. You have to remember. Constantly think about this story of love. Then it moves to your heart. You pray. You ask to really understand and feel this love for yourself. And finally, it moves to your hands. You practice. You put that love into action.
And this is where the rubber really meets the road, isn't it? Practice doesn't just mean being nice to your friends or the people who are nice back to you. It means you have to extend that same love and forgiveness to, well, everyone, especially the people who are difficult, the ones you disagree with, even the people who straight up don't like you.
And to make this super relevant, the source applies this directly to some of the tensions we see today. The point is made that when people seem to hate the church or those who believe, it doesn't matter whether you think you're right or they're wrong. The challenge is to remember the incredible forgiveness you've received, and then turn around and offer it to others, even to people who feel like your enemies.
And this all builds to a really powerful and, frankly, challenging goal. By living out this kind of crazy, unconditional love and forgiveness, you actually become a mirror, a reflection of the one who gave the gift in the first place. You become, in the memorable words of the source, a little Jesus to the world around you.
So we end up right back where we started, with a question. But it's a different one this time. It's not about what you could never give away, but about what you can. After thinking about this unbelievable gift, the final challenge is a personal one. Who is it in your life, right now, that you need to extend this same kind of forgiveness to?